John Blaxland is my next guest, Senior Fellow at the Strategic and Defence Studies Centre at the Australian National University. He's in Canberra this evening where he is. Mr. Blaxland, good morning, evening to you.
Hello, Heather.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to put up the satellite images on our screen. I know you've seen them. What do you see in these images, sir?
Well, I hope I see a part of an aircraft, but part of me, the pessimist, the realist perhaps, sees what is probably an ISO container. The ISO containers come in 20, 40 or 80-foot blocks. They're saying that that's 78 feet. Well, you know, given the grainy nature of the imagery that we're talking about, it's not at all, we're not at all sure what this is. It's just below the surface of the water. It's not exactly clear what we're seeing. And we've got to remember, this is part of the world where very few people ever transit. This is not where people like to be. It's not commonly where people go. So this is not something that is regularly photographed or photographed in detail. So what we've got is a problem because the photo is 4 days old. And that means that the currents would have moved this object possibly quite a long way. But not only that, it may have submerged further. And they're trying to steer to get new satellite imagery of the site. They're also trying to get aircraft onto it, but the visibility is poor. The water can be very choppy. Don't forget, this is the roaring 40s. It used to be where in the 19th century shipwrecks happened all the time. This is treacherous water. It's a long way from anywhere. It's certainly a long way from Australia and anywhere that you can land. So the aircraft can't stay there very long.
So you have given all sorts of reasons why we should do exactly what Malaysian and Australian officials are saying, and that is heap caution on this. They view this as new, incredible evidence. They view it as very encouraging, but obviously there are other things it could be, and we've seen so many false leads. You're suggesting possibly a large shipping container could be what's picked up. I want to come back and just talk a little bit more in detail about some of the other points you raised. This time frame, this is stamped 4 days ago, the 16th. Why would it be so long between the image being taken and our learning of it this morning? What would they be doing in that time before they can release it publicly?
Well, the thing is, you've got to actually scour the data. This is a large stretch of water that has got these photographs. Don't forget, the photos are not that clear, except they've really zoomed in. They've had to really zoom into the picture to actually identify what it is we're talking about there. And this is over a massive expanse of water. So the analysts have been scouring the photos, the imagery, trying to figure out what's there, what might be there. That's not easily done. You've got people, trained specialists looking at this stuff, looking for colour, for intonation, for any kind of indication of something man-made, if you like, that's out there. That's not easy to find.
No. I guess I wonder, though, as they would have scoured it, I mean, they may have had reservations, as you had, thinking it may well be a shipping container. But for us to hear from the Australian Prime Minister putting in some ways his credibility on the line and coming forward to announce these satellite images, they must be a little bit more reassured. Yeah,
well, I'm hoping he is right, but I must admit I'm not so confident at this stage, I'm afraid.
Okay. Now, we know they're going to be trying, you mentioned the aircraft flying to the site to try to get visuals of this, and that's going to be key. But also commercial satellites moving into that area to try to get additional imagery. Do you expect that we will get further pictures from this scene?
Yes, we may. But the thing is that the currents have been moving these objects along for quite some time now. And so we don't exactly know where to take the photograph. This is part of the problem. This is why the aircraft are out there searching around, trying to identify the exact location where they have moved over the last 4 days to then go and do a more detailed search. And that's not easy to do, and the aircraft, from all reports so far, haven't yet been able to do that.
No, the aircraft, both Australian and American, have come back with no visual sightings. So for you, Mr. Blaxland, what is going to be the next key piece of information, evidence that you're looking for?
We need another visual sighting. And at the moment, I'm not altogether hopeful that we're going to see very much. We've got the best people, the best capabilities deployed at the moment with the aircraft, the air crew, the science assets that can be deployed are being deployed. But that still doesn't guarantee we're going to pick something up, especially if it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Mr. Blaxland, I thank you so much. Senior Fellow at the Australian National University Strategic and Defence Studies Centre there in Canberra.